This episode of the Nuff Said podcast is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com. Welcome to the Nuff Said podcast. Tonight we are talking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know, final two episodes of season 3. What is it, 22, 23, 24, something? Absolution and Ascension. That's what really matters here, right? It's the end of season 3. I am one of your hosts. I'm Rob Southgate. With me
is a little Canito.
Did you fall asleep at the mic there a little? Holy cow.
Maybe.
Was that the awkward pause for Jack? Were you waiting for Jack to chime in?
For a second, I did. I did. I miss you, Jack.
Jack's on assignment out there. Hey, now I've only posted one video so far, mainly because he's sending these videos to me in this weird way. I mean, he's like messaging me, but I'm having trouble getting them over. I can't do it from my phone, so it's like, I have to be sitting at my computer to put all these messages together and then tweet them out. So he's been sending me these little videos from all over the world where he's touring, and every one of them, it's like, I'm hunting Inhumans, I'm not finding any here in Italy. It's fantastic. Huh. It's fantastic.
Good for him.
Yeah, so we'll have a whole slew of those hitting in the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to go through, I'm finally going to be home myself, and I'm going to just like set them all up in TweetDeck and just have them just going out. So, yeah, I miss Jack too.
I totally like blinked there. I was like, well, and this is Jack Wygrowski.
I like that our impression never changes.
Beavis. All right.
Frosties. So,
well, we're a week late.
Well, yeah, at least. You know what? Anyone that listens to this show, they're getting all that other content. They're getting Super Connectivity, which is on fire lately. I don't know if you listened to that one a little, but
I do what I can. But Charlie's a genius. So.
Oh my gosh! And Charlie and Phil are on fire. They're like whipped up. And now with the news this week, as long as we're talking about it, about the Captain America thing, holy moly! Captain America, Agent of Hydra. Oh my gosh, the two of them have volumes on this. So, yeah, if you're not listening to Super Connectivity, you're missing, well, in our case, probably 9/10 of the story.
Yeah, probably.
We're almost making ourselves obsolete on here. So, let's talk about these two episodes. We can't go in order or anything. I say we just kind of talk it out. Did you like how this ended? Did you like this two-parter?
I like that it was a two-parter. I like how it ended. I like the 6 months in the future bit. I thought that was intriguing.
I did too.
My only, it's just weird that we time jumped that far out and we didn't get to see kind of the fallout.
But you know what? They're going to go back. We're going to get that stuff filled in. Because a lot happened between now and then, or they may be really bold and not. We'll just get it through exposition here and there.
That could be a way. It left me wanting more. Where the death of spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but why are you listening to this then?
Please, we're so late. Everybody's seen
it. With the death of Lincoln and Ward,
Ward again.
Know how many times Ward can die, but it's just Lincoln. It was such a cop out.
Yeah,
they were playing the musical chairs with the cross. And
now wait, I want to say something about that. I liked that. I liked that they kept setting it up. They would have the cross. They had the jacket. They would give you reason for this is the person who's going, and you look at it and go, there's no way. And when the night it aired, I don't know where I was. I was out doing something, but Twitter was blowing up, and I kept getting messages, and it was about every 10 minutes, there'd be another one going, oh my God, it's going to be Daisy. Oh my God, Fitz? And like I'm reading these going, wait, what are they doing? I thought they did a good job with the shell game. Yeah, me too. I thought for sure they were taking her out when it got really weird there for a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of like, please at this point. don't
That's
know.
the first time I felt that way. I like Daisy.
I do too, but
it was, you know where it was? It was when she was on the plane with Ward, with Hive.
mm-hmm.
And she fell to her knees, and I was like, the way they played that, I still don't know if she was baiting him.
No, she wasn't. And Lincoln explained it. Like, Lincoln even called her out on it, that he knew what she was doing because he was an addict. And they set that up before, that basically what Ward was to her was a drug. I mean, basically, she was literally on heroin here. Yeah. I mean, it was like that powerful of a drug, and her detox was very small. And not small, but I mean, a very short time.
Right.
That you put the drug right in front of her, she's going to take it back. And that's what happened there. I guarantee. Yeah, she wanted to go back. She was not ready, and then when she couldn't have it, the anger kicked in, and that's when she started fighting to try to kill him. But that kind of felt weird.
Didn't it play weird?
It felt very weird.
And I was kind of done with her at that point. Like, I was kind of thinking, I'd be okay if they went up into space and they died, and we could just put all of that away. Even though, up until now, I've liked her, and that just kind of left a bad taste. They still didn't use May a lot, but at least they gave her some fighting to do in this one. I never thought it was going to be May during this one. I did think it might be Coulson at one point. I thought, okay, maybe I'm right.
Yeah, do they have the cojones to go that far?
They don't, and
they didn't. They clearly didn't. And I don't know if I want to say, because I do love Agent Coulson and the character. We've talked about it here for now a couple of years. I love that character.
Yeah, me too.
But I kind of felt at this season like it would have made sense for him to give it to sacrifice that way, because of it was kind of him that brought this all upon them.
Right.
And it would have been kind of a good ending, and then they could have taken Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into a different direction.
Right. I'm really surprised we didn't see Mockingbird show up. I thought for sure when that show was canceled, they were going to have some kind of tag on this one. When they said, 6 months in the future, I thought for sure they were going to be in the background as team members. Not even forefront, just in the background where you watching it, you go, what happened? How are they there? But they didn't. Yeah. They missed that opportunity.
Well, my guess is they didn't do it because they still thought Marvel's Most Wanted was going to happen, and then when it didn't.
Yeah, but you know how we roll. I would have shot that today and found a way to get it in there.
Yeah.
South Park, they do it like the same day they're airing that show, and it's animated. They'll be writing jokes and adding scenes.
So yeah, that's true.
So Lincoln, I'm kind of sorry that the character with those powers is gone, but I really didn't care about Lincoln. And I don't care about his relationship with Daisy. So I'm not too upset by that.
Yeah, I wasn't too upset, but I do have to say that, when he did go up and it was him and he was sacrificing himself, I was just like, this is the first time that you actually made me kind of care for him. They did a good job writing this scene and putting this together, and having him take the bullet and proving that and knowing that that's what he was doing.
Well, and they also, we talked about it last time, the previous two episodes, they made us care about Lincoln a little bit more.
Yeah, they did.
So I agree. I mean, I think they did a good job with that, but it's okay. He can go.
Yeah.
I got to say, though, when they did, there were moments later in the episode, and especially at the very end, when I started feeling like this is about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I could see them doing what we've talked about. Episodes that are focused on them as a team, kind of espionage, action, whatever, and then episodes of the Secret Warriors. I'm a little nervous that we're going to have a half a season of chasing Daisy down.
Yeah, me too. I'm not all for that.
Not at all. Okay, 2 episodes? Sure. Or 1 episode. First episode, they track her down or whatever, but going rogue, didn't we just have this for half a season?
Yeah, basically.
Unless they're using that to build the Secret Warriors storyline, to strengthen that somehow. But if they kind of drop the Secret Warriors and now Yo-Yo's on the team and, the other guy,
Well, they still have the fallout from the Accords. I mean, this is where I thought this was going, was that she left not because of what she did for Shield, but she left because they wanted to register her and they had to basically kind of keep her tied up. You know, Talbot and them wanted to, you know, control what she was doing, and that's kind of what I got out of that.
Yeah, okay. I think they kind of ignored the Accords somewhat. I don't know.
Well, no, they brought it up. I mean,
did they? I don't remember.
I mean, Talbot. That's why Talbot was there. I mean,
that's right.
They had that talk in the beginning of that episode where they kind of laid out Agent Carter's death and all that. How
great was that scene with him and Fitz when Fitz was doing the camera thing?
Oh yeah, it was great.
That was fantastic. That was great. And he's like, he's an inch taller than me. Fitz runs off camera. That was great, man. I thought that was really clever. And I thought, you know, they've ditched that Fitz has brain damage. He's just full on, like, amazing, which I'm okay with.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they ditched it because, you know, he stutters here and there a bit. And I don't know if it's completely gone. I mean, I believe that it's not a concern for the team because he has proven his worth.
Right.
But I don't know if it's just like he's magically perfect again.
Or delicious.
Yes.
So how about that scene when those things, I don't even know what to call them, the watchdog guys, when they were attacking and he's trapped in that hangar? That was a good one. And the whole time that mist is coming and I'm like, they're not seriously going to turn him into one of those things while Gemma is like planning a vacation for them.
Yeah. That was kind of awkward too, the whole vacation.
Yeah. That was a little weird. But you know what? They got to put that in, and at least there's we've now got two characters that there is a heart to the story. Because think about it, every relationship has ended in one of them basically dying. And they almost did that with these two. But they've found a way to keep that heart in the show. So this is going to be your love stories. These two are going to have their love story throughout. Hopefully they're not going to go back to, let's do the, you know, will they, won't they, put them in, you know, one in peril or whatever. I like the way they're starting to handle, and I hope they continue with that because, you know, it does need some of that.
I agree with that, yeah.
So, boy, I've got ADD about this episode. I got lots of things. How about Mac's axe? Like, he's improved his shotgun axe.
Yeah, finally.
That thing was awesome. When we were watching it, I was watching it with Molly, and when they were trying to figure out what they're going to do, they locked themselves in Coulson's office, and they're like, how are we going to get out of here? How are we going to defeat these guys? And right behind him, Mac's axe is sitting there, the one on the wall. And I'm like, I think Mac knows what he could do. And then when he pulled it out, but you know what? He didn't chop anybody with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think they were going that, like...
Oh, that's what I want to see. Full 40s.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to go that bloody with Mac on that.
No, of course. But it would have been cool to see him swing the thing, because it's got the axe on there. Swing the thing and cut away, and we just kind of know something went down.
Yeah.
I did like Yo-Yo, too, when she ran and saved Mac. I thought that was a good scene.
Right, and she took a bullet. I liked all that, and then this is where I knew Lincoln was going to be the one to die. Yeah, because he saved her. They were building him up more. Yeah, you know, and I was just like, all right.
Yeah, I knew it too. I mean, I liked how they were playing with that. I think I liked it that more than you liked it, but I did like the shell game they were trying to play, even though, I mean, at some point you had it figured out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, this finale was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't earth-shattering great. It wasn't super satisfying. Kind of like, I would even say like season 1's finale, you know, when you had Nick Fury there and everything, I thought that was like super satisfying.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome when Nick Fury showed up on the helicopter. That was great.
But, and even season 2 had a good finale. This one, it was good, not great.
Yeah.
But I hope they take it to someplace else. And I think they're teasing stuff here. Because we didn't talk about Ada and the life model.
Yeah. So didn't we talk about this before about life model decoys and how they... I know Jack and I originally thought they were.
Patton Oswalt was a life model decoy. I mean, that was what we were talking about forever.
Right. And even way back, weren't we talking about it? And this might have been before you were even on the show, that we were thinking Coulson might be an LMD.
Yeah, I remember that, but that's before we found out everything about Coulson.
Right. But like this idea has been around, but this is the first time we just saw this guy create them.
Right. Well, and the thing is I mean, Tony Stark even dropped the line in the Avengers when Coulson called him, when Coulson was when he had that moment with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Right. So yeah, this guy didn't just invent him.
This is life model decoy of Tony Stark. So I don't know, I don't know if it's Ada that he dropped or like the next gen of life model decoys. I don't know.
Or if they're continuing to separate, if they actually are kind of separating the cinematic universe from the TV universe, maybe they're just kind of ignoring that and saying, you know what?
They're not separate. I mean,
I know they're not.
They brought up Peggy and they brought up her death and they brought up the Accords. So, I mean, it's all there. Is
she going to be there 7 of 9? Is she going to come out? She's going to be like some skin-tight silver outfit and high heels. Remember how 7 of 9 had high heels? Who makes a robot with high heels?
I don't know, some deviant-minded people.
Right. Okay, so you made it, but, that seems weird. I wonder if they'll do that with her.
Maybe. But, I mean, does this open up the Squadron Supreme for this universe? Because, I mean, Ada is, that's she's part of the Squadron Supreme.
Yeah, that is an interesting thought. And, I mean, they did, the fact that they gave us Secret Warriors, I mean, they've even name-checked Secret Warriors. Maybe this is the route they go, because Squadron Supreme is not going to end up in the films.
Probably never, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the chances of that are pretty damn slim. And I think that's also a different way than they would go even with, like, the Netflix stuff. So this might be an opportunity, just like we've talked about the past with, like, what's the Canadian team? I can't think of their name.
Alpha Flight.
Like, though Squadron Supreme, Alpha Flight, these are the teams that, and Secret Warriors, that we could see kind of coming to light here, because where else are they going to get used?
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless Squadron Supreme is a little too superhero-y for this universe, but they
need it. I mean, they're competing. Too. They're competing now with CW with 4 superhero-based shows.
Right.
And they're not pulling out anything. And then on top of that, you've got NBC with that comedy. They've got to bring more supers in here, or they're going to lose this battle, because people are going to tune into The Flash. People are tuning in.
I think they are.
I doubt we're going to get a lot of the people that are in the Squadron Supreme. I just think, I don't know. I mean,
Tom Thumb? We getting Tom Thumb?
Possibly. I mean,
Captain Hawk? Getting Captain Hawk? I doubt it.
You mean Nighthawk?
I thought it was Captain Hawk.
I thought it was Nighthawk.
I think there's 2. Isn't there? Yeah, I just pulled it up here. There's Nighthawk, who left the team, and there is Captain Hawk. I got him.
I don't remember Captain Hawk. Maybe I was just getting him always confused with Nighthawk.
Yeah.
I mean, and then if they go with the new, Hyperion, but I mean, like, they won't use Hyperion at all. I mean, that dude's crazy. I mean, Dr. Spectrum.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? They've had the Squadron Supreme in the Marvel's Avengers Assemble cartoon.
Okay.
As a villain group.
What?
For the Avengers. Nighthawk and all these guys, they fought the Avengers.
Interesting. See, and this is a way that they could have kind of like an Avengers team that these agents deal with. And what's the deal? Oh, no, I'm not going to get to that yet. I'll save that one.
Nuke is on here. They just released his action figure.
So they probably are trying to figure out what to do with these guys. This might be a good entry point. Maybe they understand that they do need to compete on the superhero level. But once again, if we go back to what we said, the way you fix everything is you have a certain amount of the season that is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., them doing James Bondy type stuff with the help of, like, Quake. Okay? And some of the episodes where they did that, it worked really well. And you can even have these, super forces that they're dealing with. But then you have certain episodes that are Secret Warriors. You could have certain episodes where they're working with the Squadron Supreme, where they're working with Alpha Flight, and you go, wow, this is cool. They're developing Captain Britain. If that's part of the TV universe as far as they're concerned, maybe you can bring that in. And ABC owns, Freeform? They're doing Cloak and Dagger. Yep. So, maybe these are opportunities, since these are all ABC general properties, start bleeding them in here so that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. becomes kind of the James Bond espionage figurehead, but a fair percentage of what you're doing, you're involving supers. I think that's a unique take.
And the only problem with that is the costs are going up. and it looks like ABC is cutting that kind of stuff.
I know.
So I don't know.
Which is weird, man. You know, I think that.
Well, they got a new president, so I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
It seems like he's taking a different direction and not kind of going by the mouse house status quo on everything, which is fine. I mean,
there is another option to this though. If the Netflix deal is making as much as it seems like it's making for them, you know, Netflix and Disney, Netflix has all that Disney stuff. Some of the rumors I've read are that Netflix is going to be developing a lot of shows with Disney, like including there's, I believe, 2 different Star Wars shows that they are talking about.
Well, there's that talk. There's the Moon Knight, Blade, Ghost Rider addition to the Netflix series. The problem is you know, they're putting these shows out. You don't get them like a weekly serial kind of thing. You get them all 12, 13 hours at once. Boom. And there is high production because they tend to spend more.
But for the money that they spend to make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if they did it a different way and put it on Netflix in that capacity you're doing, and they make them, instead of 13 episodes, make them 10 episodes each, and give us something that drops every 2 months. It seems like that would be a lot. It might not cost them that much to do something like that. And you want to just, I mean, it would be like satellite radio turning its back on radio. They turn their back on TV. Now, I know they own ABC, but if they're not having the success with ABC, why not make this brand stand there? They're not putting Star Wars on ABC.
True. I mean, that is true. I don't know. I mean, if they do that, and then I can totally dump my cable, then I won't need cable. I'll just be watching Netflix all the time.
My gosh,
save a lot of money that way.
No kidding, man.
I don't know. I'm with you. I get it. I don't know if if they put out too much, if it will cause some kind of, I don't know, friction. I mean,
yeah, but once again, look at how much CW is putting out with Flash and Arrow and Legends.
But that's just 4 shows a year. So you look at 4 shows a year. Netflix is putting out, at this point, they're going to try to average, before all these new announcements, 3 shows a year.
Okay, 4 shows a year that are, let's say, 20 episodes each. They're actually
they get money from commercials. They get more money back than a subscription service.
I don't know if I buy that. I don't know if I buy that. If you have the number one show and a hot show, sure. A CW show, no, I can't imagine it. And let's say you're taking 4 shows, 20 episodes each. Okay, if you do what I'm saying, match it show for show, and you make them 10 episode shows, you can do 8 different series over the course of a year, each of them 10 episodes. You have 8 different properties you're working with, okay? 8 different ways to approach this thing. And you can have the street level Daredevil series. You can have the Squadron Supreme type series, okay? And everything kind of goes together in that. You can bleed them over once in a while, have Charlie Cox show up on the West Coast or whatever, and you're like, oh man, it's Daredevil, but he's only in it for, a one-shot showing up. That would work. As far as the money goes, you know what? They must be doing well because they're putting a lot of money into Daredevil and Jessica Jones. If they're doing 3 already, let's say they're going to the 3-a-year model and they're putting that kind of money and production into it. You know what? I don't think that they have a problem making income from it. They make it on the back end. They make it from subscription. They make it from selling the episodes individually on iTunes. They can do product placement that is kind of like having advertising on the show. But they can make deals that are like, we're doing 10 episodes. We want him to use, the latest iPhone in this. Okay, well, we'll make sure it shows up this amount of times. And they make as much on that as they would if they had advertising on their show. Why not?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I would love to have a show a month coming out of Netflix. I mean, at the quality of Daredevil and Jessica Jones that we've seen, it would be terrific.
It'd be crazy. You're talking about not needing your cable? You're right, man. If Netflix had 2 Star Wars shows a year and even 4 Marvel shows a year, I think I'd be done. I think that'd be it. I don't need that other stuff.
I would be hard pressed without I'd have to figure out how to get. I would also get Hulu.
Oh, I'd have to have Hulu.
Flash and stuff.
You know what? You'd end up getting Hulu and a couple other things because you'd want to make sure. I don't know about you, but I'd have to make sure I get The Walking Dead and stuff like that. But you know what? Somebody's going to figure it out.
Yeah, I hope so. Believe me, I'm sick of paying DirecTV $100-some-odd a month.
Yeah, no kidding. So what else? What else happened in this episode? Now that we've gone way off track.
Yes, we have. No, I think that's really. I mean, that's really it. Everyone had like a bit of their moment, and we get the end with Ada and the LMDs, and I think that of course, what?
Who's the new director?
I don't know. I have no idea.
How do they take Coulson out as director and make somebody else director? I mean, doesn't that seem weird?
Well, my guess is Coulson probably had to step down because he lied to everyone to actually get this done and clean this mess up. It's probably the only reason he got Talbot on board.
Wait. Or is it the return of Nick Fury? In the cinematic universe, does Nick Fury come back? Because he's not dead. No,
I know he's not dead. I don't think he comes back yet. I think Nick...
6 months from now?
No, I don't think he's coming back to... because he's not going to be in Thor. He won't be in Doctor Strange. He won't be in Guardians. Maybe a Spider-Man cameo. I doubt it, because that's going to be Tony's big push. So maybe they'll throw Cap in there. I don't know. I don't think we see Nick Fury for a long time, and because we're not seeing S.H.I.E.L.D. the way S.H.I.E.L.D. was. We're
going to see. Yeah. I think the next time that we potentially see him is, we're going to see him in Infinity War. There's no question, or whatever they're calling it.
Correct. I think that's the next time we see him.
Yeah, Thor's in space. Guardians is in space.
Doctor Strange is.
We could see him in Doctor Strange.
I don't see it. I don't see him there. There's no reason for him to show up there.
Yeah, but you're thinking of him as a main character in it. I'm thinking, just like they've had in their things at the end, Nick Fury is back at the end of Doctor Strange.
But Nick Fury right now is still portrayed. I mean, people know, but people don't know that he's dead. They still have.
Wouldn't that be a good place? Doctor Strange is a good place.
Doctor Strange. No. I think if anything comes up in Doctor Strange, it's going to be Tony. Because Tony is still building this team. Tony is still there with the Avengers. It will be Tony, because it'll be Tony to get him to sign on or whatever. Or it won't even have any kind of Avengers tie-in. Or it'll be some kind of weird, some kind of different thing, kind of like Ant-Man. Where there is a tie-in, but it's not the tie-in like we normally think. Because Ant-Man had the Falcon there, but it wasn't like, hey, join the Avengers. It was... I need to do this. We throw the Falcon in, and it ended with the end of their story. I think that is more likely or more plausible to happen with Doctor Strange, that it is its own entity without any connective tissue, except for maybe opening up stuff within an Infinity Stone.
So, I really think that it would make sense if you're going to bring Fury back into the fold to use him in one of those end credit things soon, so that it plants a seed, so that we can go one or two movies before it shows back up.
You can throw him in any end credit scene as a second, because they usually do 2 teasers. You can throw him at the end of an end credit scene in Guardians, and it's not going to matter because it's a connective tissue to something else going on.
Yeah, but if they drop the thing that there's a new director, if they have him pop up in the end credit scene of Doctor Strange, just popping up, he doesn't even have to approach Steven. He's just there. They do one of their little cutscenes that lets us know big stuff is going down, and then Thor and Guardians deal with, these big things that are coming forward, okay? You put him there, now we know he's back as director.
I don't think he's coming back as director. There's no reason to have him as director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, then who's director?
I don't know.
May? We didn't see her at the end.
Maybe she is director, and maybe that's who Coulson gives it up to.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind that. Plus, it might give her something to do again, because I love May.
Maybe it's Talbot.
No. You think?
I don't know. Do I want it to be? No.
No, it can't be Talbot. He wouldn't go S.H.I.E.L.D. It's got to be either a character we know or...
Here's the thing. He might go S.H.I.E.L.D. because they were really pushing to, he said it in that show, why don't you get out of the shadows? And maybe that's what they pushed, because here it didn't seem like they were really operating in the shadows.
Yeah, there is that possibility. Although another possibility, because they certainly aren't using her in the movies, is Maria Hill.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a TV show going. She doesn't have...
Done with that.
You know what? And frankly, as director, how much does she really have to be there? How much do we really have to see of Maria Hill? Especially if we're doing stories with the Secret Warriors and Phil's running his team out in the field. It completely changes the story going on here while really reminding the viewer of the cinematic universe.
Agreed. I mean, actually, Maria Hill would probably make sense, and I don't think Colby Smulders would be against being on TV permanently.
I don't think so either. She's been Maria Hill, but what else has she been really doing as far as films or anything?
Little stuff.
Yeah, I mean this would be a way to kind of put her back in the limelight a little bit and remind people she was a TV star already.
Yeah.
And once again, if there's 22 episodes in a season, she appears in 12 of them. That's not a huge commitment. That's all we have. We don't have to see the director all the time. Or she's there all the time and they have to answer to her, but she's doing the Iron Man thing. She's standing in a room answering questions. She films all of her stuff over the course of 2 days, and that's her whole season.
Yeah.
Possibility.
Very much so. I like it.
And then we find out she's Hydra, because that's what Marvel likes to do. All right.
Oh, man. That's how we're going to end it. Hail Hydra.
Worst. Oh, it's the worst. I don't even want to get into that. I know that Phil and Shirley are whipped up. I'm sure they're going to have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about it, too. And I'm not, I mean, it's heartbreaking for me just because of what Cap means and stands for and his history. And, not even going like just his comic history, but it's like the history of his creators and everything and what they went for, what they did. But I think everyone is going a little overboard on it because, and I'm not comparing it exactly because, I mean, they did kill Spider-Man and make Doc Ock Spider-Man for a while there with Superior Spider-Man, which everyone hated.
Except me,
and then it actually
awesome.
Turned out into a really good series.
That was a really good series, man.
So I hate the idea. I hate this, but I'm not gonna just say I'm done. I'm out. This Marvel ruins everything.
No,
it made mistakes.
It's there's a couple of ways that this is going down. One is that it's not Steve Rogers.
No, they came out. No, it is. They came out and said that this is not a clone. This is not an imposter. This is none of that stuff that like we were initially talking about in the thread is on the Nuff Said Facebook feed. It is true. They basically said that this is Steve Rogers, our original Captain America. And you're going to just pick up these pieces throughout. So,
I don't like that.
There's other people saying, well, you got to look at what Hydra is. And, speaking of it, a lot of Hydra, they were around before the Nazis. I mean, we had all this stuff with Hive and all this stuff. So we got to see where it plays out, before people go off crazy. I mean, the writer was getting death threats on Twitter.
I know, that's ridiculous.
That is awful. People need to stop that stuff. I mean, trust me, I actually think I was in a funk all day yesterday because of this. And I wake everybody's fine in my house. I mean, everything's fine. But I was in a bit of a funk. It really did get to me. But then again, we got to see how this plays out. And I think that's the big thing. I know, Charlie brought up a few things. I don't want to step on the toes of their show. But I thought of the same thing. He has
some really good points. Some really interesting.
There have been other people who have taken on the mantle. And stuff like that. If you go through Captain America's history, there's a lot of things that they could throw in there. But how it sounds that this is not it, and we don't know where it's going. All that we know is in this first issue, as he says, "Hail Hydra." There's a tease to him as a child that his mom might have been a part of the organization or brought into the organization when he was very young because they were in an abusive relationship with his father. All this kind of stuff. We don't know where that turns,
right?
And we don't know. We just don't know yet. And there's some talks with the Cosmic Cube. If people don't know the history of the Cosmic Cube, look it up. I mean, it's basically in the movies the Tesseract, but it's not. It doesn't do the same thing,
right?
And actually, Avengers, the cartoon Earth's Mightiest Heroes, had an awesome run about with the Cosmic Cube, which really showed you a lot of good stuff and what the power of that cube did before kind of the Avengers and what it is now. I want to see where it plays out. I think people need to calm down a bit. Believe me, I was upset. I'm probably as upset as anybody, but I understand. Again, these are fictional stories. 75 years this character has been around. Sometimes you've got to turn it up on its head to kind of see what else can come out. Because then all that's going to happen is people are going to be like, oh, it's the same Cap story. Why do I need to read it? Oh, the Red Skull's back again. Why do I need to read it?
See, and I'm okay with a lot of that. My problem goes back to what you first said, which is knowing the history of the character, knowing what the writers were going for. If they're going to tear that all down, just burn it to the ground, it's like, you know what? This is really an icon, and it leaves the same distaste as what Snyder has done with Superman in the movies, where you go, you know what? I may not be a Superman fan, but stop making him the villain. Stop making him this character, because you know what? If it turns out that that there's a ploy, there's a story, there's going to be a twist, and we're going to get it, okay. But the way this played out, it felt very much like hey, let's do this. We're going to put it on its ear.
Well,
and
they're going to say that initially. They're going to say that initially because they got to get us reading it. Because if they didn't, then everybody would
see. But I go back to what I said on the thread. I said this, and I still hold this. This type of thing, this particular type of thing, can have repercussions that are very negative going forward for the fan base. Forget you and I. I mean, we're going to end up reading it. We're going to end up like staying in there no matter what, right?
Yeah.
But I remember when they did the Clone Saga with Spider-Man, and I remember talking to people about it. And I've still had people say, "Well, didn't he die? Wasn't he a clone? That's not even Spider-Man." People that aren't really into the comics, they watched the movies, they were way into the movies or whatever, and they heard these rumors and like, well, what's the point of watching these movies anymore if they're just it's going to turn out to be a clone and it's not real anyway, and who cares? Because to the casual fan, they don't stay there for that story. And
right.
It might antagonize this fan, a big part of your fan base.
And that's what I'm saying. This is a multi-million-dollar character. I mean, we just saw Civil War make $1 billion.
Right.
They're not going to damage their character for the long run. Even the Clone Saga, guess what? After that happened, yes, the comics took a bit of a hit, but guess what? People came back. People still love Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the movie started coming out, and guess what? Everybody loves him. It'll have slight repercussions if it's not a good storyline. But, they've done this many times. They've had bad ones. One More Day with Spider-Man. That's, ugh. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But then, again, the same kind of fallout. I really feel... If people remember going back, I know it's not the same thing now when you look at it in comparison, but I remember the same fallout with Dan Slott in Superior Spider-Man, because, I mean, I was out of my mind upset because that they would do this, kill Peter and have Doc Ock live in his brain. Like, that was just ridiculous to me.
See, it's funny because that one, when I heard that was happening, when I read it, I always felt like it worked for me. Like, it bothered me that Peter was gone, but the whole time I was like, they're going to bring him back. This isn't necessarily
permanent.
But it didn't feel cheap either. This feels more manipulative.
I don't know if it feels cheap yet. I think the reason why we think it feels cheap is because Captain America right now is so popular. And again, Chris Evans, we know we have Infinity War coming. He didn't, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the $1 billion movie, he didn't die in the movie. And I think that's why we're like, well, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? I mean, he even tweeted yesterday, like, Hydra, question mark, exclamation mark, whatever. And, it caught everybody off guard, I think, because he came off such a fun, I think that's what it is, because, again, the movies have overtaken the comics. They really have. People can disagree with me all they want. $1 billion in comics, these comics are selling 100,000 copies at the high end.
Right.
There's a big difference. So they're not going to kill this character's mystique and his lore for a cheap twist at $100,000. So what's that? $5 a book, $500,000 bucks when they're making $100 billion at the box office. They're not going to do it, but there's got to be some good story here, and it might be something where he could end up being a villain. And guess what? We've had villains that have overshadowed a lot of the heroes. You look at like a villain like the Joker. You look at a villain like Dr. Doom with the Fantastic Four. I loved Doom over the Fantastic Four.
Not maybe in the movies, you don't.
Well, we're not talking about those movies. But maybe this is something that all of a sudden we talk about how weak Marvel's villains are. Maybe this is something that turns everything on its head and all of a sudden it becomes something spectacular. We don't know. And I get it. Believe me. I get it. Like I even posted on my Facebook page that yesterday, every time the Civil War trailer came up on the TV, I'm just like, my heart broke.
Yeah.
But
so maybe it was effective. Maybe it was good marketing, and maybe this will be a fun ride.
It might be, and that's the thing. We're not going to know, 3, 6, 9 months from now. This is going to be a slow burn because they did it with Spidey. I mean, it was 30 books in, I think, before he finally came back.
Yeah.
That's 3 years. And so, I mean, give it some time, calm down, and please stop writing death threats to people on Twitter. That's ridiculous. Yeah,
I mean, really, it's a character. It's a character, and these are real people. Stop it.
God, I mean, that's the one thing I like. Again, this is why I started writing. I have a little side project I'm working on. And it's because of geek culture, that we talk about every day, and it's titled "Why We Can't Have Nice Things," and it's because of people like that we can't have nice things.
Yep.
So
take that, people.
Yeah, people. Well, all right. I'm tired. I got to work in the morning.
Yeah, you need to get off that soapbox. It's starting to bow in the middle.
Oh man, where's Jack? Where's Jack when we need him for some job? I need a. I was going to say slushy, but I forgot what they're called. That
Frosty.
Frosty. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, let's wrap it up. That's the end of this. Was season 3, right?
Yes.
End of season 3. We'll be back for season 4, I'm sure. But in the interim, enjoy listening to Super Connectivity and All New Marvel Review. And, we're still deciding what we can do, if we can do some kind of summer series. So stay tuned. We'll let you know if we can work something out. Hopefully we can find something to do. That'd be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
And if nothing else, follow us on Patreon. We have one for Southgate Media Group, but we actually have Nuff Said has its own Patreon. So if you want to support the show, go to Patreon, look up Nuff Said Podcast, and, support us. It just really helps pay for equipment, pay for promotional materials, keeps us going. Let's see. What else do we want to get out there? Frankly, I think I'm going to put something at the end of this episode asking people for all the different ways they can support us. So we don't have to go through it right now. Let's just give our social media. How can they get a hold of you, Alil?
I can be found on the Twitterverse at LOGEEKZ, and that is for the League of Geeks podcast. That's Geeks with a Z. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have a YouTube thingy majigger that we're working on, and a lot of stuff coming out from the League of Geeks.
Awesome. And you can follow me at our Southgate. You can follow the podcast at Nuff Said Pod. And we have a Tumblr for This Week in Geek, but we do post some of the stuff from Nuff Said on there. Lots of Marvel stuff on everything we do. We also have a Pinterest board for this, which is funny because I never cared about Pinterest. The last couple days, I have been hitting tons of Marvel stuff in there. So just look up SMG Pods or Southgate Media Group, and you should be able to find our page. And then there is a board for Nuff Said Podcast where I post the episodes, but now I'm filling it with Marvel stuff. I found lots of cool stuff. And what else? Did we hit everything? Oh, we've got Instagram too. Look up Nuff Said Podcast on there. That's it. Thanks again for listening, everybody. That's the end of season 3. Season 4 will be back with Jack. That's it. Until next time, Nuff Said.
Hail Hydra.
Oh, you bastard.
I'm Team Cap no matter what.
Yeah.
If he thinks Nazis are good, then they've got to be good, right?